KnoxBeat, the true-to-life stories of Frank Lovejoy, crusading reporter for the Knoxville News Sentinel. Tonight's chapter, Final Edition. Our story begins with Kim Trent of Knox Heritage recording comments to herself as she explores the sub-basement of the News Sentinel building.
Well, the foundation is solid. There is some water damage. What in the world is this? It looks like some kind of freezer? Oh my God, there's a person in there!
The scene shifts to UT Medical Center, where Dr. Becky Harmon is tending to the frozen body thawing in the emergency room.
Can someone get me a mop? This guy is leaking all over the floor.
Doctor, here you go. I brought this mop and bucket. So this guy is taking a leak?
No, orderly, this guy is a leak. Or more like a thawing block of ice. See if you can help me pry loose his wallet.
Got it. Well, I don't see any insurance information. But wait, this old yellow card is still legible.
Press card, Frank Lovejoy, reporter, Knoxville News Sentinel. This looks like a phone number. Let's see if it still works.
You have reached a number that is no longer in service. Please check the number and try again.
In fact, it would take a dozen calls before the intrepid Dr. Becky Harmon would find someone who knew Frank.
Oh, yes, I remember Frank Lovejoy. Great reporter, kind of serious and suspicious, though. Whatever happened to old Frank?
Well, this is hard to say, but he's frozen stiff right beside me.
Well, Frank always was kind of formal.
No. I mean, he's a human popsicle. Do you have any idea what happened?
Oh, my, let me think a minute. Oh, I was afraid something like this might happen. Well, it was quite a busy and confusing day there at the paper, and I got to say we all had been drinking pretty heavy.
Okay, what happened, sir?
As I remember, it was Friday, just before happy hour. Frank was a beer guy, but you know me, I like my scotch.
Sir, focus. What happened that day?
Well, a bunch of those science guys from Oak Ridge were visiting an interview about freezing people and then thawing them back to life. Frank was suspicious, so we all volunteered him to be the one who went into the freezer. Geez, did we forget all about him?
It appears so, sir.
So how is old Frank?
Not good, sir. Cold and stiff.
Well, he always was. But if he's alive in there, tell him I owe him one.
I doubt he'll be collecting, sir, but thanks for helping solve the mystery.
Doctor, this may sound crazy, but I think I just saw his hand move.
Quick, let's get him in a lukewarm tub and get an IV going and a monitor. Stat.
24 hours later, Dr. Becky Harmon is at Frank's side when the long-frozen reporter stirs.
What the... Where am I?
Take it easy, sir. Your voice and your body both need some recovery time.
Where are the News Sentinel guys? I only was supposed to be out for maybe an hour.
Don't take on too much right now.
Those Oak Ridge guys said not to freeze me for more than 60 minutes.
It's been closer to 60 years.
60 years? Stop pulling my leg, sweetheart.
Frank, I don't want to alarm you, but we're in new territory here. It's been 60 years.
And how do you know my name, Toots?
Frank, you are my patient.
Well, that's one consolation. I've got a pretty nurse.
I'm your doctor, Frank.
Don't kid me, Cupcake. A woman doctor? What else are you going to try to sell me?
I'm not selling anything, but I will be telling you things that may startle you.
Don't worry, sweetie. I'm tougher than I look. What's shaking here?
To start, let me tell you that the year is 2013.
Don't try to gaslight me, sugar pie. 2013. That's a good one.
Okay, let me show you on this hospital TV. Let me turn on Channel 10.
Seen it?
That might not be the best example. Here, let me click another channel.
Arizona Diamondbacks just crushed the Chicago Cubs.
There, an entire TV channel devoted to sports.
Arizona Diamondbacks? Whatever happened to the Brooklyn Dodgers?
See, Frank, new teams, new TV, new channels. Everything has changed.
Well, not everything. The Cubs are still the league doormat. So, if this is really 2013, where are the flying cars? Where's the video phones?
No flying cars, but take a look at this.
What the hell?
It's called an iPhone.
Who wants one of those in your pocket when there's a payphone on every corner?
Frank, there's going to be a lot of adjustment.
Dr. Harmon, Dr. Becky Harmon to operating room 3.
I must go now, but just rest for a while.
No thanks, sweet cakes. As soon as I can go, I'm leaving this bed. I've got to get back downtown to the paper. I'm on deadline to file my story. Maybe I'll stop at that diner for a bowl of Wheaties and a beer chaser.
What will happen to Frank in downtown Knoxville? How will he survive the 60-year time warp? KnoxBeat has the scoop after these words from our sponsors. As we rejoin KnoxBeat, News Sentinel reporter Frank Lovejoy has awakened from a deep freeze of 60 years. He's meeting an old colleague, Tom Mosby, in an Old City bar.
Once I talked to that woman doctor, it all came back to me like a bad dream.
I can't believe all of you just left me in that freezer and forgot.
Well, blame me, Frank. I'm the only one still living, you know.
All of them? Dead? Gone?
Yep. Welcome to the future, Frank. 2013. Looks like the waitress is coming with the beer that I owe you.
Just one beer? I figured at least one beer per decade, Tom. A six-pack of Pabst.
Gentlemen, here are your drinks.
Thanks, Toots. You're a peach.
Well, aren't you an old-school kind of guy?
Well, I guess I am, but I don't want to be so square. A doctor friend of mine let me borrow this fancy phone.
Oh, Frank, you stole that.
And I was hoping you could teach me how to use it.
Well, I can't right now, but I finished working the lunch shift at 3. Come by then, sugar.
I think she's sweet on you, Frank.
Yeah, maybe. But I figure I can take notes on this thing, even record my voice. That way I can get my column done before midnight.
Frank, about that, you know a lot has changed.
Yeah. In my day, downtown Knoxville was buzzing. A couple of political families ruled the joint. Some of the Pauls were upright, but others belonged in jail. Nashville was controlled by one party, and a fair number of those were backward-looking buffoons.
Come to think of that, not everything has changed.
Tom, I'll call you when I'm ready to file. You can tell me where the new office is and how to get there. I gotta go. Story Notes by Frank Lovejoy. I'm new to this iPhone thing, but a sweetheart of a waitress showed me how to do a half-dozen things with it. When I suggested some other things, she slapped my face. Maybe I deserved it. Siri, send flowers to Dolores at the Crown and Goose.
I found 15 florists fairly close to Crown and Goose.
Yesterday I was driving in Edsel. Now I'm using this thing and something called Goggle Maps, I think. That can't be right. Nothing is where it should be. I can't find my car or my house in Fort Sanders. Gay Street looks more familiar. Hey, here's the Tennessee Theater. Hey, that sounds good and vaguely familiar. Say, fella, don't let me stop you from playing.
Oh, that's okay. I was just practicing a bit. I have an organ concert coming up any moment now. Have I met you somewhere?
Frank Lovejoy, News Sentinel reporter.
Well, please stay, Frank. They just opened the doors for the concert.
In shuffled a gaggle of blue-haired old ladies. The organist was serenading them with the Tennessee Waltz. Suddenly, one of the old broads stared straight at me. It was Wilma Dupree, the prettiest young girl at Long's drugstore. At least she was.
Frank, is that you?
You must be confusing me with someone else.
I'd never forget those steel blue eyes.
Sorry, lady, not me. I gotta run. I dashed out the door before any of the others recognized me, but I kept the music in my head and my inner monologue going. Gay Street was a bit different. Lots of cars, even though gas was more than $3 a gallon. I missed the old trolleys. The city fathers foolishly paved over the tracks. Instead, I found myself on a bus done up to look like a trolley. The other passengers kindly identified some things for me. The sun was reflecting off something called the sun sphere. A giant basketball hovered over one building. Women's basketball? And a Hall of Fame for it? In Knoxville? But so it was. I got off at Market Square. Well, this is an improvement. Restaurants, street artists, kids playing in fountains. There were some performers on a stage. I ducked into a place to get some coffee. Cup of Joe?
Sorry, that's in the old city.
No, I meant, never mind. Just coffee, please.
We have mocha, mochaccino, latte, latte grande.
Just a cup of black coffee.
What's that?
A dime for the coffee.
The coffee's $1.75.
I put 2 crumpled bills on the table. Old Tom Mosby probably had been feeling guilty about the whole freezer thing, or maybe the legal mouthpieces at the paper were worried, but at least I've been given some spending cash, a desk tucked away in one newsroom corner. I insisted they find my old Underwood typewriter and a fresh ribbon. Damn, this is good coffee. It should keep me awake as I write my column.
Hey, buddy, you the one who called the cab?
Yeah, take me to the Sentinel's newsroom.
You mean the News Sentinel out by Middlebrook Pike?
I guess so. Jeez, what's a newspaper doing way out there?
Back at the newsroom, Frank bangs out the last few sentences of his column, Lovejoy at Large.
You'd think that after 60 years slumber, I'd be able to offer some sage insights, or at least grumble loudly as the Rip Van Winkle of East Tennessee. You'd think that I'd be impressed by all the new technologies, the toys. But the future is more than gadgets and gizmos. Knoxville today has a woman mayor, someone who in my day would have struggled just to get out of the typing pool. The President of the United States is a man who, when I started newspapering, would have been forced to the balcony of the theater, the back of the bus, and wouldn't even be served at the lunch counter. So good on you, Knoxville, especially all of you who struggled to make this progress possible. And good for all the curmudgeons like me who eventually woke up, got out of the way, and realized everything would be just fine.
Copy, boy. I said, copy, boy.
Sorry, Frank, we don't do that anymore. But I could put this on my blog and tweet about it.
Yeah, whatever.
KnoxBeat was produced at the studios of WUOT Knoxville. KnoxBeat is written by Mark Harmon, who also played the part of Frank Lovejoy. Becky Harmon was the doctor. Brandon Hollingsworth was the orderly. Mike Martinez played the part of the cabbie. Randy Tyree was Tom Mosby. Jake Thompson was the sportscaster and the hospital announcer. Jean Ash was Wilma Dupree. Cindy Hassel and Elizabeth Hendrickson were the waitresses. Jack McElroy, Kim Trent, Bill Snyder, and Siri played themselves. Bill Snyder played the organ. Michelle Brannon recorded it. Special thanks to freesfx.co.uk and to Funnyman374 at freesound.org. This is your announcer and technical director, Dag Nabbit, saying good night until next week.